Okay, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're in. My name is Alex Bachman, and today we're going to talk about mobile apps, 10 best practices in construction industry. Couple of logistics before we begin. I'll go through the presentation. I'd like to make this as interactive as possible, so don't be shy about entering questions into the questions section. And then at the end of the presentation, I'm going to pause to make sure that we get all of your questions answered. So the agenda today is really simple. My aim is to give you very concrete and actionable examples of how to use mobile apps in construction industry. I mean, we're all familiar with mobile apps. We use them. We use email, we browse. I'm going to focus today specifically on what are the best practices that you can apply in your projects immediately to really begin getting value specifically in the construction business. So first, some stats before we dive into it. Construction Weekly, I believe, is where they came from. So they've surveyed a number of people, and basically what they found is that 40% of respondents are using it for inspection, safety, and data collection, right? Which is kind of what we would expect. Those are the most natural use cases. About 29% using it for scheduling and meetings. About 23% are using it for project management, coordination, synchronization in the field, and about 22% are really using it for workforce management. Right? So just some useful stats so you can see how mobile apps are getting adopted in the industry. So before we get into specific use cases, right, I want to make sure that everybody has basic understanding of the technology and what's possible here, right? So whether it's a smartphone or a tablet, what kinds of things are the most natural to this device, right? And first I want to start with saying that tablets and smartphones are absolutely the best device ever created for people working in the field, right? It's compact, it's in your hand, it's equipped with all kinds of sensors. The photo capture capability, I think it's absolutely great to be able to snap. It's a very basic snap a picture and being able to share that picture, email it to the right people, be able to take notes, capture notes, record audio and video, be able to scan barcodes. Right? The device is equipped with GPS capabilities, so wherever you're using it, you can instantly capture the location. You could see the maps, tracking kinds of applications, being able to track people, assets, equipment, etc. is very, very natural use of it. To be able to date and timestamp is really important. Be able to capture current weather conditions. And be able to do reporting, right? Be able to both generate information for reports and being able to see the information that others are reporting, right? So it's really an indispensable tool for capturing the data, right? Being able to act on the data and be able to view the data. One really important side note is that whoever is building the apps for you, we really need to make sure that the apps are working not just when internet connection is present, but also offline, right? Because a lot of times you're not going to be in a location that has internet. So all of these capabilities, right, need to be able to, the app needs to work without the internet connection. And when internet connection is there, it needs to be able to synchronize with the rest of the systems. So that's kind of the basic capability, right, of every tablet, every smartphone device. So how to use this technology, right? So the next thing is, once the data is captured, what do you do with it, right? So the fancy term is workflows, right? So where does the data go? It can be emailed to coworkers and management. It can be stored in a database and then retrieved from the database for reporting. It can be, captured as PDFs, let's say, and stored on cloud drives, so that not only the people in the field, but also people in the office can access these PDF reports and know, right, what's going on, right? Or it can be a little bit more sophisticated, where the data that you're capturing in the field can be integrated into corporate CRM and ERP systems, right? All of these things are possible. So where is the place that people start, right? The very first place, the most obvious place that you can start is really go after the paper forms and clipboards, right? And as I think the picture in this case is kind of worth 1,000 words, right? What do you want to deal with? Do you want to deal with that stack of paper? Or do you want to deal with a device in your hand and being able to basically, fill out the forms, capture the information, and so on. So the problem with the paper, as I'm sure you know, the forms are expensive to print, expensive to ship. If it's not forms, if it's, clipboards, the data, the handwriting, sometimes you can't read it. The paper gets lost, right? It's in somebody's truck. I lost it. As you've been in this business, the daily log, to be able to get daily reports out of people is really, really hard. The paper gets, not only lost, but, you still have to take the information and then retype it into your computer systems, right? So you have double entry very often. And then the accuracy of the data, right? You're out in the field, it's cold. I mean, you can imagine that what people collect, the information that people collect is oftentimes, not exactly great, right? So instead of having the paper and then deal with it, bringing it back, retyping it, what many people are realizing is having a smartphone or a tablet in your hand to capture the information that you need. It's captured quickly, accurately. It can be validated. It is sent immediately to whoever needs to see it, so that people can immediately act on this information, right? And just think about how much time and money and speed improvement, right, that you can put in, almost immediately. And this kind of a use case, I mean, it's really not that difficult, right? This can be done, fairly quickly. So that's kind of the very basic stuff. Secondly is you can use mobile apps to really improve and expedite inspections, right? So when it comes to quality, when it comes to safety, when it comes to compliance, right? So being able to quickly capture information, get it to the right people, being able to do inspections because you can do it so much faster, and with instead of dragging either paper or even dragging laptops and cameras to the field. Why, right? In 2014, you grab your smartphone that's already in your pocket, or you grab a tablet. You go out there, you do it. You can quickly collect information. The information can go to the safety management for immediate assessment. If there are problems, they can take corrective actions. I mean, just a lot simpler, right? And think about also from a compliance perspective. Instead of, dealing with all the paperwork, wouldn't it be a lot easier to be able to just capture essential information, whether put it in a database, create PDF documents out of it, right, and then be able to automatically generate PDFs that are in the format that are necessary for various compliance agencies, right? Whether you're dealing with, OSHA or whatever it is. I mean, you can basically go from capturing information to generating PDF reports in exactly the same format that compliance people want to see, saving you time and saving you money, right? I mean, those are the most important things. So the next use case, this is, you know how difficult it is to get an accurate picture of what's going on out in the field, to be able to track progress daily, right? And if you don't track progress daily, projects often get away from you, right? So what can be easier than having again, smartphone or a tablet, very basic, make it simple so that, construction guys out in the field can basically provide you with information on a daily basis, right? No more excuses. You can make it very simple, put big fields, make it really easy to type in a few things, automatically capture the location. You can also use this as a way to keep people honest, right? In terms of checking in, time out at the location. So you can be certain that, the information is getting, collected as it happens right there in the field. Get everybody to fill out the daily report, and then the management can see immediately what's going on with the project. Are we on track? Are we behind? Is the weather a factor? What are we going to do? So that you get immediate information, and you can act on that information. So, we at Snappii have a construction daily log that we made available in the app stores, Google and Apple, and it's one of the most downloaded apps, very, very popular use case. No, another one is, of course, to inspect and track equipment and assets, right? So another very natural use case for mobile apps is fleet management, right? Where is my equipment? Where is it? What state is it in? Is it workable? Are there any issues? What needs to be repaired? All of that information would be available to management, at their fingertips. And when you're dealing with, some equipment, quite expensive equipment, especially multi-million-dollar crane, where is it? Is it in working conditions? I mean, it's important to really have a very accurate daily assessment of status, so that if there are issues, that you can maximize utilization of this equipment, right? You don't have expensive equipment sitting idle and in various stages of disrepair, right? So that's another very common use case that people do. A third one is just, create much better documentation, right, for customers to be able to show progress. You can share as much or as little information. Probably better to share more information with the customer. But very often, this is an issue that what comes to mind specifically with one construction company that we helped them with. I mean, they had a very difficult contract that basically any slippage in time, would result in fairly significant penalties, right? So utilizing mobile apps to compile documentation to keep the project going on time is certainly a really good way to make sure that the project is on time and ultimately you want to be able to avoid penalties. Another really critical thing is to improve overall team communication, right? If the team communication is improved, people can take action. You're not wasting time, right? It's the old adage of time is money. So There are no more excuses of, I didn't get the report in time. You can go much beyond just simply emailing people and looking for status. With a tablet in your hand or a smartphone in your hand, you can get accurate information as to, what's going on. The information is up to the minute. It can be visual, right? Not just text, but, it can be visual information with pictures and audio and so that the entire team can see when the problems develops and are able to act on it, right? Be able to take specific actions today, right, as it happens, not, a week later, not sort of after the fact, right? So, think of the smartphone and tablets as, the ultimate communication device that allows you not only to see text, but, to see rich data, we call it, right? Images, audio, video, be able to really assess the situation quickly and act on it. Another really important use case is to speed up project estimation, right? So oftentimes, how quickly you can, do the estimation and present the client with options determines whether or not you get the business. So being able to quickly collect the information, plug it into, estimate, present the customer with the choices. Can mean the difference of getting the business or not getting the business. So another really useful use case that we see in the field. Inventory accuracy, right? That's another really popular use case, right? Oftentimes you have a lot of inventory sitting at a construction site. It's not always just in time, and what's out there versus what the computer says back in the office sometimes are not in sync, right? So being able to quickly see what's on site, have the capabilities, the barcode scanning capabilities to be able to capture the inventory and immediately compare it to what it should be, right? Or to be able to retrieve additional information. So say I scan a barcode and then it comes back with some additional information that I need to know, about the material that's on site, right? So that, again, I can make better decisions. Whether you sending the data, out or getting the data in, instead of, trying to find the data, have the data come to you when you need it, where you need it, right? Some people call it just-in-time, information. Have the information find you as opposed to you looking for that information. So that's another very popular use case for making quick decisions. Another popular use case is, to be able to quickly assess equipment failure and outages, right? Where is it? Who's the nearest person that can get involved and help resolve the problem. Be able to provide a quick safety assessment. Again, sort of time is money here, right? To be able to accurately assess equipment failure, and deal with outages in real time or near real time is really important. Tracking and monitoring assets and locations, right? So this is for both, people in the field and management, and to essentially think of it this way. I mean, you have a device in your hand that can give you a real-time view of where everything is, right? Whether it's people, equipment, assets, you can see. You could see it in motion. You could see, where it is. Being able to see things on the map, be able to see changes, being able to immediately act on that information, right, is really important. So another very common use case for mobile apps technology. Not only the equipment, but of course the other one is the workforce management and assignments, right? Again, you don't have to make decisions a day later or a few days later or a week later, right? The information that you get is actionable. You can build mobile apps that are telling you where the people are, giving you the status of every project on a very granular basis, right? So that you can make better decisions of how to deploy the workforce that's out there and really monitor completion and tracking of all these projects. So those are the use cases that I wanted to share with you, 10 specific use cases where you can apply mobile apps. Switching gears a little bit and tell you a little bit about Snappii and how we can help. So we probably build more mobile apps for construction industry than anybody else. If you go into Apple and Google App Store, and you type in Snappii, you'll see all kinds of apps that are popular, that are used by the thousands out there. All of these apps that we build are customizable so that we can tailor it specifically to your project, right? And be able to add things like users, the user accounts, change. They're 100% customizable. We can customize them to specific needs that you have. If you've priced out what apps cost out there to do custom development, the costs are really all over the place, and you can easily spend $50,000 to $100,000 plus. I would caution you to be very careful and do your homework, because that's not what a small application development project should cost. The prices have moderated, and especially when people build apps on platforms such as what we have, they're much easier to build, quicker to build, and can be turned around in literally a week or two. And that's what brings the implementation costs down, right? So, a typical app development project for us is around $10,000, not $100,000. We can build these apps for you, or you can build these apps or change our existing apps with a little bit of training. We work both ways with clients, right? So it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be done quickly. We turn around prototypes for customers literally in 48 hours. That's how fast the Snappii platform works, and that's for both iOS and Android devices, right? So, hopefully you've seen some use cases that you think will really make a huge difference in your business, and contact us and let's discuss how we can help you, how we can tailor existing apps, or how we can make a brand new app specifically to meet your needs. So I will share a customer quote. This is a Fortune 1000 customer. I'm sure you recognize the Hister brand. They work with us, and they had a quote for $80,000, which they thought was a little ridiculous. They decided to use the Snappii platform themselves, and were able to build an app that's used today by about 3,000 people in the field in their dealership. So just as an example. So I will finish up with some contact information for us. Again, urge you to don't be shy. Contact us today. Run some ideas by us. Tell us a little bit about your business. And, we've done a lot of these apps, so at very least, I think we can give you some sound advice on, how to go about realizing this in your projects. But we would love to hear about your mobile app requests. And that's it. Hope you found the presentation useful today. And I'm going to hang around and answer some questions. The best way to do this, if you can enter your questions in the questions section on your screen. That way I can see it and I'll just respond to the questions as they come in. So I'm going to pause and wait for your questions. Right, so somebody's asking, the apps that Snappii builds, are they hybrid apps or are they native apps? So just for everybody's benefit, hybrid basically means that you build one app that works on all devices, but not reliably. And the other problem with hybrid apps is that they don't really work offline when the internet connection is not present. So we build native apps. So the native means that they are really built for the device. It's iOS apps specifically on Apple devices, Android apps specifically for Android devices. So they're 100% native, no cutting corners. I mean, they look like all the other apps that you got from Apple or that came with Android. They are native apps. Okay. Another question is about the project duration. So typically what we do is, we do a consultation session with you, about 30 minutes or so, figure out what you need, if it makes sense and it's doable. We can usually turn around a project prototype app that you and your colleagues and your management can immediately start using. We don't have to go through the approval process with Apple. I mean, we give you an app that you can load on your device, and so everybody can see it, comment on it, use it, and then we just keep evolving the prototype. One of the things with Snappii is that it's really easy to make changes in these apps. I mean, we can literally make changes while we have you on the phone. It's built into the system. So we make the changes. You could see the changes. You could say, yeah, that's good or that's not good. Can we make, and so we can kind of work real time with you. So literally, for most projects, about a week, we can basically get you to a really finished working app that you can deploy out there. Okay, another question is about the back end and how apps are working together. If it's possible to develop apps for pricing, I mean having an application that can track current product and construction material prices and affect the daily changes in price fluctuation trends. Yes, absolutely. This kind of an app is possible, and we've done a fair share of these apps. So basically the way this works is our back-end system is can communicate with other systems using RESTful protocol, which is kind of the industry standard way of programs communicating with other programs. Our back-end system is written in C#.NET. There's a Microsoft SQL Server database, and it can make outbound connections. So in this particular question that you're posing, yeah, we can basically connect into the system that has your current product and construction material prices. And this can be done in real time, so that whatever the user of the app is seeing is actually real live current data. I mean, it can be automatically pulled from your existing system, stored on the device, or stored in our cloud server. And so that it's probably I'm guessing here is an estimation or bidding type of app, so that when you make an estimate or you bid, you're bidding it with the actual current data. So yes, absolutely, that's possible. And the pricing will be accurate and daily. I mean, the current pricing that's available in your system. Okay, and a follow-on question is, how much would it cost to develop this app? Um, we need to get your specific requirements. What else is part of the system, and we'll be able to turn around a quote to you, fairly quickly. But I shared with you kind of an average rate that we do this. It's not going to cost $100,000 or $50,000. That's for sure. So if you contact us today, please, and give us the specific details so that we can turn around a quote for you very quickly. Okay, another question is, so what's involved in making the changes to apps? Don't we have to have it go through the App Store approval? Actually, once the app is rolled out and approved by Apple, well, part of our system is to be able to distribute updated app immediately to hundreds or thousands of devices. So literally, you can be in the system, make the change. So let's say you have a forum that's changing, right? We need to put additional field. So we go in, we add another field to the forum, we save it, we hit publish button. The minute that happens, all the users get a notification, push notification that says there's a newer version available. And they can immediately download and install it on the device, right? So the changes are instantaneous. You can really ensure that everybody has current version of the app on their device, and that's part of the protocol that we built into the system. Along with a lot of other things like the ability for the apps to work offline, which is really important. I mean, we have customers that are, doing audits, on oil rigs, or doing performing data collection audits underground. So having the ability to work offline is, really important. Okay. Another question is, these apps, are they, is it, how customized, I guess is the question, is how customized of an app can it be? It can be 100% customized to your needs, right? This is the way Snappii platform is designed. We can start out with a blank canvas. And get the user interface exactly the way you want it. There are really no compromises. It's the way the system works is you drag, arrange, and configure visually when you build apps, and you have control, down to the pixel level, pretty much, in how the app works, right? So it's the interface can be exactly what you want. And the other thing I want to say on this is that A lot of times people start out with an idea, but once they show the app to users, they get a lot of feedback, and it needs to be, and it needs to be tweaked, and especially with mobile, even more so than, say Windows applications, right? Because it's a different form factor, smaller screen. People don't always get it right, or I should say, most of the time, you're really not going to get it right the first time. So having the ability to make changes quickly and easily and do lots of prototypes, lots of iterations is, in my opinion, really important factor, success factor. Because, if an app's not going to be used, it doesn't do anybody any good, right? So we have the ability to tweak it until we get it right, until you get user feedback, you get that says, yeah, that's exactly, what we want. It's usable. So, that's how we work. Okay. Another question is, in generating reports from your apps, how will the second party get to the report? Must they have Snappii application on their device as well? No, they don't necessarily have to have a Snappii application on their device. So the very basic use case there is we generate the report as a PDF file, right? That can be placed on a cloud drive or email to people, and or as an Excel file as well. So depending on what the report is and what data it contains, and they can look at it from their desktops, right? So if we put it on a cloud drive, let's say, as PDFs, and we give them access to that cloud drive, they can be just sitting there at the desktop and opening PDF files. So they don't have to have a Snappii mobile app to see the data, to see the report. Okay. Okay. Another question is are there any limitations on how much data gets collected, or I think it says stored, yeah, and stored. No, not really. It's basically a function of how much data that you want to keep online and available. It's stored fairly efficiently. Um, we're utilizing for the storage of data, we're using Amazon services. So that's where the data gets actually stored and backed up and managed. So no, not really. There aren't any sort of practical limitations. You can keep a lot of data. Storage is, thank God, is cheap these days, right? So you can keep a lot of data out there. Okay, next question is, how much experience we have, knowledge in the construction industry. I guess pretty good. With the number of projects, number of apps that we build, which you can download and take a look at yourself. I think, we've certainly got a fairly good exposure to what people need. So I think we're in a position to offer specific advice as opposed to relying on the knowledge of the customer. Um, yeah, I think we can basically tell you if if your idea, if you are missing the mark, or certainly share with you what others are doing, right? So that we incorporate best practices. Good, lots of questions this morning. Keep them coming. Okay. Okay. Another question is, so when you capture a picture, can you can you make notes on it? Yes, you can. You can basically capture a picture and right there with your finger circle things, write, make notes. You can select the color and the width of the brush so that yeah, I mean we make it easy for people to share photographic information with with the team. As the saying goes, right? The picture is worth 1,000 words. So I think we see a lot of people using that as a way to to communicate with the team. Okay, another question here. One second. Okay, the question is, these applications on the contractor's end or or the project manager's end? Both or either, however you want. So one of the capabilities that we have in Snappii platform is to create specific roles, user access rights, right? So we can build an app that your contractors, when they log in with a contractor IDs, their own IDs, they'll have a different view of what project managers would see, right? Different tabs, different buttons. So we can completely customize it to match the needs of the users, and you can have as many of these sort of groups you want, right? You can have a contractor view, a project management views, or you can make it a specifically a management view, make it very specific, and they can have the same app and be able to see different things, right, based on what they need to do. So we can define as many of these user types as you need to. Okay, good question. Another question is, can I bring in drawings and other information into the app? The answer is yes, absolutely. You can bring in other information. It can be in PDFs. It can be we can take an Excel file out of from you and make a database with it that will be accessible in the app. So absolutely. All these apps are designed to integrate with additional data, with third-party systems, right? And it can be as simple as taking the data in an Excel spreadsheet and creating a database inside the app, or a little more sophisticated and connecting to corporate ERP and CRM systems. Can be a variety of different ways that we can work. Okay, another question. But not okay about the drawings in a CAD format. So yep, not in a CAD format. It's if you can get it as basically an image or a PDF. As you know, CAD formats get to be pretty huge and very detailed too. I'm not sure that it would be a really good idea to see that on a device, especially a smartphone device, right? I mean, you'd be doing a lot of zooming in and scrolling around and so on. So okay. Question about Android devices. If it matters which device, no, it does not matter. It works on all Android devices. Basically, Android 4, 4X, and higher. It you have a lot of choices, and it doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, I see now pretty good Android tablets, that are $50 to $150. So you can use pretty much any brand. The one that we see the most is Samsung, but pretty much any Android device. Okay, so I think that's great. Uh, a lot of good questions. I would say, please contact us to discuss your specific needs. Would love to be able to help you guys. So you contact. We have the phone there listed, and the email, and give us your specific requirements, and hopefully we can help you. Thank you for your time today. Hopefully you've gotten some good and actionable ideas that you can apply to your business, and get some value out of it. So thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.